My name is Dr. Jose Luis Ruiz, and I'm the president of the Mexican American Cultural Education Foundation. And I want to tell you what we're about. Our mission is to change the narrative, the false, twisted narrative that has been spread around about the Mexican American people and culture. This is something that has taken 170 years. You know, it started that far back when America conquered California, Texas, and then in an effort to control the Mexican American people there, you know, bad information was started, you know, false information to minimize the value of our cultural contribution. And that has continued over all these years. And of course, we know more recently it's been amplified, as we all very aware. Why is it important that we change that? Why does we all want to work about changing this? Well, because we know that as individuals and as businesses, and there's so many successful people here today, if we have a terrible reputation, we're going to have a much harder time being successful. And that is much worse for the young, for the new immigrants, for people who may not have as much education, who in fact may believe all these lies and may actually be forced to accept all this information or misinformation. And of course, we understand that that's going to hurt. That's for 170 years. Not allow our community to progress. And the thing is, that is not the end of the problem. Then think about other communities that listen to these things, and then they start becoming resentful about the Mexican American community. You know, they might be misinformed. And of course, there's people like Trump and others. They're saying awful things like Mexicans are invading this country, like Mexicans have no, you know, they come from a land of drug-infested place with no culture, no value, and things like that, which of course, if people that are misinformed believe, then bad things happen. And we know, we've seen it. Unfortunately, we see it more and more every day, you know. Texas, recently, I want to kill as many Mexicans as I can. And of course, you know, it's very hurtful and very painful to hear those things. But pay attention, understand that these people are not differentiating. They don't say, well, but I don't want to hurt the Latinx. I think that I really like the Chicanos. No, they don't see difference, right? But they do see a difference. They never say, oh, I want to hurt the Puerto Ricans or the Cubans or the Nicaraguans. They're very specific about Mexicans. Why? Again, this goes back 170 years ago. We need to understand history. It's very, very important. And whether we like to call ourselves Chicanos or Latinos or Latinx or we are like myself, you know, an immigrant who has moved to the United States and made this my home. I'm a Mexican American by choice. And I love America more than I love Mexico. I love America. Like my kids who are half Mexican, we all have something in common. All of us, you know, whatever we want to call ourselves, we all have something in common, and that is our beautiful, rich culture. Our culture, which is so influential, that literally it has made America great. And we might forget this, and people are not informed about these things. But for example, the most valuable crop in the United States, the corn industry. This was a gift from our ancestors, right? The corn doesn't grow naturally from the ground. It had to be genetically engineered by our brilliant ancestors who over hundreds of years were able to develop this agriculture, which then was taken over by the United States when they took over the southern states. The ranching industry, right? The cattle industry, all the cowboy, all that beautiful, colorful style of ranching, which is Mexican style. Not Spanish, because the Spanish do it very differently. They ranch completely different. This is something that took hundreds of years to develop. And of course, the beautiful Mexican architecture throughout the south of the United States, which is incorrectly named Southwest, incorrectly named Spanish, because it's Mexican architecture is different. There's, if you're into architecture, realize that there is a difference. Spanish architecture is one way. The Mexican architecture, again, is taking hundreds of years to develop. The music, the food. Some people minimize the importance of Mexican food. They're, oh, that's cheap food. No. The Mexican food is one of the most important cuisines in the world. Maybe the most important cuisine in the world. It's taken 2,000 years. Some of those dishes have taken 2,000 years to develop, right? Our ancestors, all the spices, all that amazing stuff that we cannot live without. In fact, I dare you to open any menu in the United States and not see either Mexican dishes, and I'm not talking about Mexican restaurants, I'm talking about any restaurant, and not see either Mexican dishes or Mexican influence in those menus. It's that powerful and that important. More recently, the soap opera. The Bold and the Beautiful and Los Ricos También Lloran, they have a lot in common because those were developed in Mexico. Mexico is the largest film and TV industry in the continent, in the Latin continent. And it's influenced tremendously the American film and TV industry, but without giving us credit. So we have a lot to be proud of. We have a lot to be proud of. And one thing that we have to be proud about is the hardworking Mexican-American people who have helped build the Southwest and against sometimes oppression and terrible oppression, have achieved amazing levels of success. We in this room have a group of highly successful people, and of course we have a true Mexican-American history maker with us, and we're so honored to have him here today. And you know what? Really, that's in a nutshell, that's what the Mexican-American Cultural Educational Foundation is about. It's about developing this pride that we should have in our culture. And in the future, when one of our kids, is bothered or attacked by some of these bad-intentioned people, they can respond with knowledge, understanding how rich our culture is. We don't come from a drug-infested third world country. You guys should know that Mexico is the 15th largest economy of the world. Only 14 other countries in the world are wealthier. And of course, compared to the U.S., before the Spaniards came, the Aztecs, the Incas have civilizations that were incredibly advanced. And after that, after the Spaniards, Mexico was the richest colony. So be proud of who we are. And don't be embarrassed, because it's interesting. For some reason, again, over the 170 years, we've been made to believe that if we have pride in being Mexican-American, we're not being American. We're not being good Americans. But that's not fair, because other very successful cultures in this country, they flaunt their pride of their cultures. The Italian Americans, they cannot stop talking about Italy and the beautiful culture and the beautiful architecture. And the English, my goodness, you cannot even turn the Netflix and not see, King Arthur and Queen Victoria. And we're bombarded to just love the English culture. And of course, the beautiful Jewish American culture, they're so proud, and it's such a beautiful thing. So the Indian culture that is becoming so popular today. So let's be proud of our culture. Let's be proud. And by the way, if some of you are not Mexican American, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting, our efforts. If you're here because you believe in fairness and equality, and if you're working for that, we want to help you. We want to be part of it. So because we believe in unity, we believe that we're all on this together.